Great Gadgets offers a variety of useful gadgets for tracking your projects in a truly agile way. The Pivot Table and Pivot Chart gadget is a great tool that allows you to create and display advanced statistics on Jira dashboards based on Jira work items in the form of multidimensional tables, heat map tables, and charts of various types. Here are some specific examples. Let's say you want to display the number of story points assigned to your team members during the sprints. To do this, at the data source, select a filter or enter a JQL that returns the issue assigned to a sprint. At Fields, select the issue fields needed for this statistic. In this case we need assignee, sprint, and story points. Since we want the statistic to be by item assignee, drag the assignee field into the rows area. It now displays the number of work items for each team member. Note that during configuration, the gadget will generate some random dummy data and display a preview based on it. After adding the assignee field to the rows area, break this information into sprints by adding the sprint field to the column area. As you can see, the table now shows the number of work items for each team member per sprint. Because you need the stat based on story points, change the calculation method from count to sum of story points. Click Save. And there you go. The table is now displayed on the dashboard and shows real-time statistics based on Jira data. Clicking on a value in the table will open a filter that displays the work items that generated that value. You may want this table as a heat map to easily identify the people who have been assigned the most story points. To do this, just edit the gadget and choose heat map table instead of simple table. And look, the information is now displayed in a heat map table. You might prefer a chart instead of a table. In the configuration panel, choose the appropriate chart type. In this case, the stack column chart would be a great choice. But what if instead of story points, you want this statistic based on the percentage of story points in each sprint for each team member? This is actually very easy to do. Just set the calculation method to sum as fraction of columns. And the table now displays percentages of the total in each column. If you want this displayed as a chart, the multiple pie chart option might work best for this case. Now let's look at another example. Let's say you want to display a statistic per project, with the number of each issue type reported each year. To do this, configure the gadget to use a filter that returns work items from your projects. Select the required fields for this statistic: project, issue type, and created. Start setting up the pivot table by adding the project field to the rows area. It now displays a preview of the output by showing the projects and the number of work items in each project using dummy data. Next, add the issue type to the rows area under project. It now divides the items in each project by type. Now let's see how to divide the data by year. First, add the created field to the columns area. As you can see, it shows the full date when each work item was created, which isn't useful because we actually only need the year. To extract the year from the creation field, go to the More Settings tab and change the formatting of the created field to show only the year. The gadget now shows the statistics per year. Click Save. And here you go, the multidimensional statistic is now displayed on the dashboard. Another example. If you use epics in your projects, you can also configure the gadget to display the progress of epics. Let's say you want to see the progress of epics by % of story points in each status category. To achieve this, configure the gadget with a filter or JQL that returns the items under the epic. Next, select the required fields. In this case we need parent epic, status category, and story points. Then, start setting up the pivot table. Add the parent epic field to the rows area. It now shows a preview with the number of work items for each epic, using dummy data. Next, add the status category field to the column area. It now displays the number of work items in each status category for each epic. To display the sum of story points instead of count, change the calculation to sum of story points. Now the preview shows the sum of story points for each epic. Because you need the stat based on the percentage of story points, change the calculation method from sum to sum as fraction of rows. Click Save. And there you go. The table is now displayed on the dashboard, showing the percentages of the total in each row. If you want this displayed as a chart, the stack bar chart option might work best for this case. So, don't miss the opportunity to easily organize your data and display advanced statistics with this awesome gadget.